Welcome to this MDGuidelines quick start demo of the new Duration Views tool. Duration Views provides an easy access to 3 types of recovery estimates and introduces a brand new summary view that compares recovery estimates by viewing all 3 views on a single timeline. To get to the Duration Views, simply click on the Duration Views tool link in this toolbar. This toolbar is available from any page within the MDGuidelines website. Once you launch the Duration Views tool, you'll see a landing page. This landing page provides you a quick description of the 3 types of views contained in the tool. The first is the physiological view. These are our traditional duration tables that provide minimum, optimum, and maximum recovery times used to manage cases by reviewing clinical estimates. The population view allows you to benchmark cases using real-world estimates and provide summary statistics from our population database of real-world claims. And the case view is our enhanced predictive model that predicts recovery estimates by entering case-specific information. To get started, simply enter a medical code, a diagnosis in ICD-9 or ICD-10, or start typing some keywords to find the medical code that is the primary diagnosis for your case. I've selected rupture of tendon, of the Achilles tendon, and this loads up the 3 views and the summary view within Duration Views. The first, as I mentioned, is the physiological view. These are traditional physiological duration tables, which can also be found within topics. Expand each factor to view the specific clinical estimate for the condition and the treatment factor. We show the minimum, optimum, and maximum durations here. We also provide links to the topics, so if you need to know more about the topic, you can click on these links and open up the topic page to find descriptions of the treatments, how to address failure to recover, what possible work accommodations would be suitable during recovery, and so on. The second view is the population view. This provides summary statistics from our population of short-term disability and workers' compensation claims to give you an idea of what the distribution of outcomes is for a wide range of circumstances, including all job classifications, various industries, and different types of medical management approaches. The first part of the data here is the case frequency indicator. These values may be high, medium, or low, and these give you an indication of how frequently this particular condition occurs in our database. For high and medium frequency conditions, you can get a pretty good idea of the distribution for the condition because we have a high number of cases. For lower frequency cases, there is much more variability in the outcomes. We provide a mean duration in days. We use the geometric mean to avoid having the statistics skewed by extreme outliers and extremely long cases. We also provide some statistics about how many cases exceed 365 days, as well as the percentage of records returning to full duty. For the population statistics on this population view, we do include records that do not have a confirmed return to full duty date. We use a survival model to ensure that those lengthy conditions or absence of a full duty date do not skew the statistics. Instead, we keep them in the population and let you know how often that occurs where we don't have a full duty date. This may mean that the employee transitioned to long-term disability. It could mean that the patient never recovered or even deceased. But it also may mean that the claims manager simply lost track of the case, and the last recorded contact is the duration that we use for our data. In the middle here, we have percentiles of the distribution. Percentiles simply mean percentage markers and the corresponding duration in days at each of those percentage markers. For example, the 5th percentile of this case means that 5% of the cases return to work within 16 days or fewer. The key statistic here is the median. The median is also the 50th percentile, and it means that half of the cases return to work within 85 days. At the bottom of the page, we provide a graphical representation of these percentile statistics. Each one of these bars represents 5%. We show both confirmed return to work cases in this light blue, as well as no confirmed return to full duty in the dark blue. You can see with a median of 85, which corresponds to about right here, that half of the durations and half of the instances fall to the left of that, and the other half fall to the right. You can see that there are fewer that fall to the right, but a lot more variability in potential lengthy cases. The other thing we'd like to point out here is that you often see a peak in durations around 90 days and 180 days, and this represents common short-term disability plan design where benefits expire at 90 or 180 days, and employees on short-term disability plans will either leave their position or return to work when their benefits expire. Moving on to the case view. The case view is our new predictive model. We used modern machine learning techniques to build the algorithm and have trained our data on an expanded data set of short-term disability and workers' compensation cases. The primary diagnosis is the key input for the predictive model. Optionally, you may specify specific details of your case, including age, sex, job class, and program type. Job class, again, are the U.S. Department of Labor definitions, and if you need a definition for each of these, simply click on the question mark to get a description of what each of the job classes represent in terms of physical exertion for the job. The program types supported are workers' compensation and short-term disability, so these are benefit program types. I'll go ahead and enter a couple of demographic factors here. And I'll select a short-term disability case. The next thing you can do is add comorbid conditions that may affect your case. There are two ways to enter comorbid conditions. The first is by using these comorbid groups, and the second way is to enter a specific diagnosis code. The comorbid groups are groups of diagnosis codes that all relate to the same category. All of these options will remain consistent for each condition that you may use the case view on. But what you'll see is that some of them are highlighted, and this means that we know from the primary diagnosis right away which ones are going to add additional time to your prediction. The ones that are not highlighted will add no additional time to your prediction. And you'll see as I hover over each option, I get a description of that comorbid group and some examples. For this case, I will go ahead and select depression. The other thing is that you may not know which group your comorbid code belongs to. And in that case, you can certainly add a code explicitly. And you'll see that for this code that I've entered for bipolar I disorder, it actually belongs to the depression group. And so it shows a grouping here. To see that without selecting the depression group first, I'll do it again. And it automatically checks that depression box for you. So there are two ways to interact with comorbidities using the groups. You can also enter codes that do not belong to a group. For example, nicotine dependence is a common comorbidity. However, it doesn't actually belong to any of these groups. And you'll see here that it adds it on the same level as depression. You can select up to 3, and you can use the significance indicator to help you pick the 3 most impactful for your case, should you have more than 3 to choose from. Once I've selected my model and input all of the case-specific details, I simply click Calculate, and it gives me a total predicted duration of 125 days. Finally, the summary page helps bring all of these durations together in a unified view to help you manage your case. From the physiological view, we have brought in the factors, and there are those 2 factors that were available. I'm going to go ahead and select surgical treatment. From the population, the job classes from the physiological table are also displayed here with the numbers that correspond to the selected factor. And you'll see that we also calculate the dates relative to the start date. If I enter a different date, it recalculates the relative dates for each of the durations in this table. We also have brought in the population median from the population view and the case prediction from the case view. Because I selected the medium job class, this checkbox is already in place. The checkboxes also give you the opportunity to see what a lower job class return to work opportunity might be. For example, if the employee left from a medium job class position, but with accommodations or other work restrictions, you might be able to return them to a sedentary position while they recover. And by checking the checkbox, you can see that it plots that as well as the medium job class here in the middle at 56 days. All of the dates are plotted on the graph to the right, and this lets you compare visually what the different durations might be. Starting with the start date, since we used both sedentary and medium, those are both plotted here. The relative position for today compared to the start date is plotted. And the median and the case prediction are plotted here as well. The medium blue bar represents your opportunity to beat the typical outcome of 85 days. And the closer you can manage to the optimum durations, for example, if I remove that sedentary, here is your opportunity for a medium job class employee to return between 56 and 85 days. And this, where active case management occurs, can lead to good outcomes for the patient. When the duration starts to exceed the median, it represents either a complicated case due to those comorbidities or other factors, or perhaps invites a conversation with the treating physician to ensure that the most effective care is being given. And that's the duration views. For more information about our methodologies with the case view, or our data cleansing and other data rules that support these durations, help pages are available under the resources menu. And there's a section for about duration views. We provide an overview as well as detailed information about each of the views and how to use the summary comparison. In addition, there is a white paper that really goes into the details about the predictive model used in the case view, and some frequently asked questions about the duration views in general. If you need any other information, you can contact our support team at this email address or this phone number here in the footer of the website, or you can contact your account manager for additional support. Thank you, and we hope you'll enjoy the duration views.